Hey, hey.
It's Friday.
Yes, we're back. We're back.
Thank God I made it through another week.
Yes, yes.
Where's
yes.
my music? You told me you was going to have me some theme music.
You know what? Next week I'll make sure I have you some music.
Oh, wait.
But this week I don't have any.
Woo! Don't y'all hear that music? Woo!
Only you hear the music, sweetie.
Hey. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to another Friday with us. We had, I don't know about you, but my week went really, really, really fast.
Yeah. All these weeks are going fast.
Goodness.
Weeks, months, days, you just name it. It's just going through real quick.
And I must say that my week went really fast, but it wasn't very productive. So I'm not very happy with myself today.
That's okay.
But I'm going to pretend like I'm happy with myself.
Yep, you're happy.
All right. So we thank you guys again for tuning in. Don't forget, if you want us to shout you out, please, we cannot see your name, so you have to write a comment. So make sure you write a comment. Our regulars have already beat me to it. So look at Miss Vicky. I think she likes to be first.
Earl, I like that. Thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate it. We love you for
Hello,
being here.
Earl and Vicky.
Hey, guys.
All right. TGIF to you guys. Hope you are enjoying today.
Hey, Gail. Hey, welcome, Gail.
Hey, Gail. I don't know. I guess you're by yourself, so hi.
She might be in the car around this time.
Are you in the car, Gail? Listening? Just keep your eye on the road. All right? All right. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know about you guys, but my week went really, really fast, and I'm just not very happy with myself. Like, I didn't get everything done. And oftentimes when that happens, sometimes, what did Gail say? Oh, all right. I work from home today.
Wonderful.
Just so you can tune in. That's right.
Wonderful.
So, and oftentimes we get into that funk sometimes, and when somebody says something to us or does something, we could easily blame it on somebody else, right? I could blame it on Jason. I could blame it on my kids. I could even blame it on the mailman. So often, but sometimes we have to take the blame for ourselves.
Right.
And so we sent a question out this week to talk about today's Friday, and we're going to do that every week. So if you guys didn't see it, during the week, try to go on either on my feed, because we never know who's going to see it, right? We all know how this algorithm goes up and down. You may see some of my posts. You may not see some of my posts. So sometimes I try to post things 3 or 4 times so that people can see them. And then people still say, oh, I didn't see it. So I don't know if it's them or the algorithm. No. So this was our question for this week. So when we post the question, it'll say question of the day, but it's for Friday. So we want you guys to ponder on it.
Ponder.
So that when we come on Friday,
collect your thoughts, get your thoughts together.
Now I had a little something to eat, so sorry, guys. That we can discuss it collectively. All right, are there any more comments before I continue to the next thing?
Continue on.
All right, so I told you guys, the mind is a terrible thing to waste. So therefore, I make sure I put down my stuff before I forget it. Jason, so let's talk about, the question, I didn't even say it was, how can you make your marriage better? So that was the question. So you guys can think about that. Or your relationship. How can you make your relationship better as we kind of get to that question? Kind of think about that. I know Earl is already thinking about his answer. I can see him. I can see him now. He's already thinking about what he's going to say. Right? So last week's podcast, if you did not listen to it, please go back and listen to it. This week's podcast was episode 111.
Yep, 111.
111, and I was talking to my sisters when it came out, and it was 1111. It was 1111, and we had just got through finishing. So 111. All right, I have to ask my daughter what the ones mean. But all right, so this week's episode was, what do you need to know about your relationship? Right? Yeah. What do you need to know about your relationship? Everybody's relationship is different, right?
Yes, it is.
Right? So your relationship is not like my relationship, and everybody's relationship is different, but they all have some common threads, right? A relationship still requires certain things for it to be a healthy, happy, and good relationship, right?
Moving in the right direction.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely. So even though we don't have the same relationship, some relationships need the same basic fundamentals in order for it to work.
That's exactly it.
All right, do you have anything to say about episode, the one that came out? So if you have not, go ahead.
You have not? Go check it out.
Yeah, I was going to say that, but I'm like, did you have anything to say about it?
I just want to go back to the beginning and introduce ourselves, because everybody don't know who we are here.
What?
Yeah, I know, right? You hear, but we're Jason and Tina Scott.
Nope.
Jason and Tina Marie.
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry about that, baby. I forgot where I was at.
Yep. All right.
I'll put our names up different. Yep. Jason and Tina Marie. All right. And what we do here is we have a relationship discussion about relationships, dating, marriage, And it's an open discussion to just get down to the root of situations. I won't say issues, just situations and how to overcome them. And we have a nice open dialogue about that. And we really appreciate everyone who shows up and participates in that.
Because what started us in this journey is that people are getting married, people are in relationships, but yet they're stuck. They're unhappy, they're miserable. And the point of it is that ultimately, we were never taught how to have a successful relationship. Even though we may want one, we may even see one. The television, don't look at any movies for how to get relationship goals, don't. But we were never really taught. So part of this, Jason and I have been married 31 years. And during those 31 years, take my word for it, we have been upset with each other. We
Yes.
have been
Not listen
each
to
other.
one another.
We have been unhappy. We
Yep.
have been at wit's end.
Yep.
We have been in situations where neither one of us knew what to do.
Right.
We have
Or
been
where
through
to go.
challenges. Right.
Yep.
We've been parents,
Mhm.
and so we have
And
had
that came with a whole bunch of challenges in itself.
absolutely. So
we've
we
had money. We had money issues.
absolutely.
Um,
Yep.
You
Yep.
name it, we've had it. We've
Yep.
gone through it. But
And some of those issues we dealt with together, and some
Mhm.
we were fighting against it, right? We did
Mhm.
not know what to do. And so in our struggles early in our relationship, we decided that, okay, well, we don't have all the answers. And one of the reasons was because we got married really, really young. And
Mhm.
so when you're young, sometimes you think you know everything, right?
Yep.
And it isn't until later that you realize you really didn't know anything. So during our 31 years together or more, we
Mhm.
decided let's turn to the experts, right? Let's find out what it takes for us to communicate effectively, what it takes for us to have a happy relationship.
Because
What
we really didn't know. I
Right.
mean, we were learning. I mean, we were learning on the job, right?
exactly, exactly.
um,
And sometimes the job got pretty hard.
Yeah.
And
And there was nowhere to get those quick answers, right? So you had to go through it and you had to learn as you were going through it.
yep, yep. So we decided that being in different clubs and ministries, we were like, let's decide, let's share the knowledge that we know. What's the point of having it if you can't share it, right?
Right.
So I've always been taught that you will be blessed the more you bless others. And so we continue to bless people with the knowledge that we have, putting
Right.
on seminars, putting on workshops, putting on things at our church. And through that, God kind of led us into where we are right now. And so we want to be able to share with you, whether you're in a relationship or whether you're married, whether you plan on getting married.
Or you just want to make your relationship better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
Which I hope that's everyone's goal.
right. And as we started our podcast, and as we started this ministry that we in, our business, right, we said it doesn't matter what relationship you in, because it can be a relationship with your daughter. Because I've had issues with my daughter. There's this little meme out on, if you guys watch Reels, and it says, how long has your teenager been an asshole, right? And so it's really funny, and it says for the longest time. And so so like we've literally gone through those stages with our kids, right?
All of
Where
them.
you don't know what to do as a parent. How do you get through to them?
Right.
And so now that they are adults, we
Mm.
would like, and I'm doing a lot of talking, so baby, please jump in anytime.
Uh-huh.
But
I'm waiting for you to get to the question of the day.
okay.
Okay.
So we want to make sure that as they make the right choices in a mate,
Mhm.
right? And so everybody has different ideas. And so we would hope that they, one, look to us as an example, but two, that we're able to communicate with them when they have questions about relationships, when
Right.
they have questions about life, when they're stuck and they don't know where to turn, when they don't know,
Mhm.
God has all the answers. And sometimes you turn to God, but sometimes you want somebody in the physical. So hopefully that's why God put us here as parents. So we
We do
want
the best we can.
absolutely.
Yep.
So it's not just relationships with married people. That is our main focus. But we want to be able to help people in all relationships, right? We want better relationships on our job, better relationships with our children, better relationships with our siblings, better relationships with our kinfolks, right?
Mm.
So sometimes those things get in the way too. But so, as Jason said, we're here to share the knowledge, get knowledge from you, as well as provide knowledge. Jason and I are certified life coaches. And so we decided to do that because, one, we didn't know all the answers, but two, we decided, wow, there's a lot of things that we don't know. So why not get the knowledge and be certified? So we are certified life coaches, and we've taken countless courses, countless things to help us in our relationship. So
Right.
we have this little saying in our home: we just make it look easy, right?
Yeah, that's true. We do say
So
that.
so people look at us
But
and
it's
go,
not.
wow, like
Yeah.
you guys, have a happy marriage.
It's a lot of work to go into
You
making
got-
stuff, making a relationship work, and it's a lot of work.
And yes, my goal is to really, really, really true and be in tune with each other,
Mhm.
right? So Jason, I would say that Jason and I are very, very in tune, and it's intentional. And thank God that we are, because I want to know when he's not feeling himself, and he doesn't want to let me know.
Right.
I want to know that, right? I was talking to my sister-in-law. And Jason was on one line because he was out, and I was on the other line. It was all three of us were talking, and she said something, and Jason and I asked the same question. She was like, "Man, you guys are really in tune, right?" And so that's what I'm talking about. And so, health challenges. I want to be in tune and know when he doesn't know something's not right, and I want him to know with me, "Hey, Tina, something's not right with you today."
Yeah.
Right? So, part of being in relationships is to be happy, but also to be so in alignment with each other that you can say, "Hey, be honest with each other, right? Hey, we're off.
Right.
What's going on?"
And there's nothing wrong with being off. Everyone goes through that phase. You're just not clicking on the same cylinder. So
Whether it's with, sex, right? Hey,
Right.
what's going on? With
it's
this.
been a little while.
Yeah.
And nothing's happening. We just kind of two ships passing in the night.
Exactly. And we're okay with it. Then,
Right.
then there's
After
a problem.
while, it can be. Yeah.
Right. And so whether we're not really communicating our true feelings with each other.
Right.
I know we have very different personalities. Jason is the type of person that he likes to keep his thoughts to himself sometime. And I'm the type of person that I like to
Let everybody know about your thoughts. So,
So,
yes.
especially him. And,
Yeah.
and sometimes earlier in our relationship,
Yep.
I could really say I used to badger him. Like, "Jason, what's the problem? What's wrong? What's going on?" Because I like to talk
And
things
I used
out.
to manage my responses based on how I wanted to get into the conversation, right? So
Exactly.
if I know that if I really tell you how I felt, the conversation could go a lot longer. So if I can
Isn't that
manage,
something, guys?
if I
Isn't
could
that- so I
manage
thought we
my
were really-
inputs,
So I thought we were really communicating.
we were communicating. I just wanted to make sure that we were going to communicate. I just didn't want to stay in that conversation that long. That's all.
And it wasn't until later that he said, I would ask him a question. He would take a while to answer. And I'm like, "What do you have to think about?
Right.
Just answer from the heart." And he goes, "Well, it wasn't until later that he said, 'I don't want to answer because if I answer this way, you're going to say that.'" So he was trying to guess
Yep.
what
Yep.
my response was
Yep.
going to be.
Yep. Sure did.
And that was quite aggravating, right?
Yep.
Because I'm speaking from the heart. I'm talking, and I ask you a question. I don't want you to put it in a nice little gift basket and give it to me.
Sometimes you have to.
And he used to do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
But I wanted
But
honesty.
sometimes, it's like rapid fire, right? So it wouldn't be one question, it would be multiple questions. And I don't really do good with pop quizzes. And I told you that for a long time, right? I just don't do good with pop quizzes. So when you just jump on the scene and hit me with all these questions, I'm like, well, which one do I want to answer? So is this going to lead to another question? That's going to lead to another question. And then I'm about to go back to the first question or the first answer I gave. So all this is playing around in my head while I'm trying to answer one of those questions.
So it took us a while to understand how to really communicate with each other. How I could not sound as if I was attacking him, right? Because nobody wants to be attacked. And so we had to learn, especially me, how to communicate in a way that was effective, where he could hear me and he wasn't shutting down. And that when he communicated to me, I wasn't upset because I felt like it wasn't the right answer, or it wasn't the truthful answer.
It wasn't that. No, it just wasn't the answer that you really wanted to have.
Maybe it was that too.
Right.
So
Or I didn't give you the response, or I didn't give you the answer that you were looking for. So you kept digging deeper and deeper for me to come out and say basically whatever it is you might want to say. I'm only speculating.
He was right. He would be speculating. He was playing the protective card.
Oh, for sure.
If
for
I
sure.
say this, then she's gonna ask this, and if I
Right.
say that, and really, I would just ask a question
Yeah,
just for that one
okay. Now,
question,
you've always said that.
and that's always been the truth.
I believe you.
Okay,
Yep.
all right. So that's always been the truth.
That's why we're here.
He thinks that I asked one question
Mhm.
to get to another question. Now,
Yep.
I had to tell him, I'm like, nope, the question I'm asking is the question I want to know.
All right. I said,
All
I'm going
right.
to answer this question. And Don't ask me another one. And so
So, and you don't realize, I know I had, oh, do you want to read that real quick?
yeah.
Okay, so Vicky says, going to marriage classes. All right, all right. Vicky, hold that for the question of the day.
Yeah.
Having this pod could help in marriage.
Yes.
Seek advice before it get
Get
to a
the
breakup. Yep, a lot of people don't talk until it's too late.
Right.
And sometimes they try to talk, but they talk at their limited knowledge,
Right.
which means they're talking at their capacity in which they've always been taught or just learned how to communicate themselves.
Or-
They didn't know how to communicate effectively with the partner that they
I was
had.
just going to say, you're talking, but you're not trying to resolve the issue as you're talking.
Or you're trying to
just-
be heard.
Right, and you're just trying to get your point across.
Yes.
And you're just trying. Listen, if I could be heard, if they could just stop and listen
Yep.
to me, then I can fix the problem. So a lot of times that is the problem, and you don't know how to communicate.
Yes. So our
Well,
point
another
here,
thing is you don't know how to listen either.
absolutely,
So-
absolutely. So most of the time when we listen,
Mhm.
you know, but I really listen. But most of the
You
time
do.
when we're
Intently.
we're listening to respond. We're listening to say, that's not true. I didn't do that. This
Aha,
didn't, you know,
I
so
gotcha.
right. So part of the journey that we went through was really learning how not to respond,
Mhm.
right? Not how to react to the, the instant. Not how to react, but take a moment
Well, you
to
have done
take
quite
things
well.
back, you know,
You have calmed down quite a bit.
calm down.
Well,
Did you
I
guys
won't-
hear that?
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean, you're not so hyper. I mean, maybe it's age. I don't know. But you're not as hyper as you used to be. You was a little
Okay.
firecracker.
All right. So, but you like firecrackers.
I did.
All
yeah.
right. So another thing that we do is that we you got another message?
Of course I do, babe.
All right. So Vicky, is this still Vicky or is this Earl talking? You should talk to for who should
who
you
you
talk
talk
to
to?
for who should you talk to for advice?
Yep.
Right? So is that a question, Vicky, or is that a statement?
Well, you can kind of go to it.
And-
One, go ahead.
So Vicky, we're gonna definitely hold that because
Yeah.
we want you guys to interact with this question of the day. So keep thinking about it, and we're gonna come back to that statement, as whatever. So can you put that over, please?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
What you want over here?
Uh-huh. So just to let you guys know, we have set this up to let people know what we do. So we are here to help couples to go from being stagnant, right? Not knowing where to go, what to do, not intimate, no intimate connections. Kind of love gets a little lost. Not that the relationship is bad, but sometimes we lose things. And we help them to move through that phase so that they can feel loved, respected, secure, and so things like that. So that's our goal, to help take marriages off of cruise control. And oftentimes we don't even know they're on cruise control. All right. So another thing is that we were talking about the podcast. So just to kind of let you guys know, if you didn't listen to last week, go and listen to it. This week's podcast, can you bring it up again for me, baby?
Yep, sure will.
All right, so this week's podcast was episode 111. It was do you need to know?
What do you need to know
Oh,
about
dang.
relationships?
I didn't even see that. What?
Yep, that's okay.
Okay, what do you need to know about relationships?
Mhm.
All right, so
Yep.
talking about that
Yep,
thing.
that's it.
Anyway, so people could still ask us, how do you get our podcast? So our podcast comes out every Wednesday.
Yep.
It is anywhere you can get podcasts. And if you're not familiar with that, you can go to your phone, Apple or Android,
Mhm.
download the podcast app and search Loving Beyond the I Do.
Yep.
So our podcast is called Loving Beyond the I Do podcast,
Mhm.
and we would like for you to go there and subscribe. You can also see us if you like to see us acting crazy.
But it's recorded.
Yes. So if you want to see the podcast, you can go to our YouTube channel, or you can go to YouTube and then go to Legendary Relationship. And when you go there, there's going to be because we always say, can you guys, go and subscribe, go and like to find out what's in the know. There's a button over to the right that says subscribe. Right? So go to YouTube, go to legendaryrelationship.com. Or is it just Legendary
It's
Relationship?
just Legendary Relationship under YouTube.
Okay.
And search, like I said, search Legendary Relationship and then subscribe.
So there's a button at the top that says subscribe, but you can scroll down too, and you can subscribe there, and that's for the podcast, and
Right,
that will
so
let
we
you
have
know when the podcast comes out. So Legendary Relationships at the top, and let you know that's where we're having courses or books or whatever we have given away free or whatever, anything that's going on, and then down at the bottom is our podcast, and it'll let you know when a new one comes out. You will get a notification. All right.
And if you like this setting here, on a Friday night, which is quite intimate. I like it myself.
I like Fridays.
I do too. I look forward to this.
Okay.
I do. I can't wait till 6 o'clock Central Time to get on here. I'm all antsy all day waiting for this. But like, share, and then,
Yes.
and please.
Yes.
I mean, that's the only way that we can get this thing moving through the internet and social media and things. Please share it. Please like and comment.
So when you see this on your feed, just hit the share button. You don't have to make any comments. It doesn't take anything. Just share it, because we would like to get the message out to as many people as possible. And sometimes that's not always easy. So if you like what you hear and you like being on there, just hit the share button and share it, like it, and send it out. Tell other people about it so that they can join us in the conversation as well. I think that was that one. And then I was going into the free ebook. So we have a free ebook, right? And so the ebook is part of how and I meant to get some stuff, but how can we get from stagnation? How can we get from lost connection? How can we kind of just mend a little bit of that back again? So Jason, you can bring that up again, please. So the ebook, you can go to legendaryrelationship.com, or you can go to legendaryrelationship.com/awaken. And so the book is Awaken the Love and Intimacy in Your Relationship, right? So 8 simple steps to help you to get it back, to wake it back up, right?
Wake that thing up.
And so again, it is free. It doesn't cost you anything. Read it, but apply it.
Yeah.
So it's
called about applied knowledge. That's what you need to do. You need to apply some of these things.
So people say knowledge is power. Knowledge is power, but it's only if you apply the knowledge or use the knowledge that you have. It makes no sense to have knowledge if you're not going to be using it. All right. So that was the free ebook. And then we also, our course that is now out, we are now pre-registering for our course, which is Elevate Your Marriage. And we are transformationists. And so we want to transform your relationship with relationship literacy, right? So we get better with finances when we have financial literacy. We get better with education when we have educational literacy. So we're hoping to elevate marriages through transformational relationship literacy, helping people to move from where they are to where they want to be, having the marriage that they want, having the relationship that they want, right? So that's about the course.
So go to legendaryrelationship.com/elevate.
Okay. And then one more thing before we get into the conversation, and I didn't have Jason downloaded, but for those of you out there who knew Floyd McGee, his wife and children are having a fundraiser, the Floyd McGee Scholarship Fund. And so it is, I think, next week.
August 13th.
So go to Eventbrite and look it up. Or if you know Tanji McGee, reach out to her and ask her if everyone can go and support her family, support the Floyd McGee.
Floyd has done a lot of good for these young men out here. He's really dedicated his life to doing that. I know he was very instrumental in helping my boys along.
In youth, period.
In youth, yes, period. But I know I'm just speaking personally about the interaction that he had with my boys. But it's youth in general. But
so he's no longer here with us, but we would love to help out her family however we can to keep his legacy alive. All right, so
we're
check that
keep
out.
Spreading the good.
Yes, so it's the Floyd McGee Scholarship Fund, I believe.
Event.
I meant to bring it up, but I forgot. Like I said, this week went really fast.
Well, that's okay. We'll make a post about it. Done. All right. We'll post it out on social media.
All right. Is there anything else that I forgot before we get into the question of the day?
Okay. I don't know.
Anything else?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't think so. I think that's it. I think you covered everything. We got the ebook, which we've got great response from the ebook. Thank you very much for everyone has downloaded. Hey, listen, share that with a friend. Share the link with a friend so they can get their own copy.
That's right.
Right.
Read it. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know. We asked you guys to look at it and try some of those things. Right. We sometimes fall into marriage thinking that it is what it is. But sometimes if you try something new, you might get some new and exciting results. So if anything, try it. Just see if these things actually work in your relationship. Sometimes we look at things and we go, what? Like, that's so lame, as my kids say, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever. But sometimes it's the little things. I know that for Jason and myself, it's the little things. It's when he makes my breakfast every morning and leaves it on the counter for me. Every morning he makes my breakfast and he leaves it on the counter. even though
Sometimes I come back and the breakfast is still on the counter.
I wasn't gonna say that. I was gonna say even though
And I don't get
it's
too
porridge.
upset.
It's porridge, guys. So don't give him too much accolades. He makes me oatmeal.
It's the effort, baby.
It is, and I appreciate that because I get up in the morning and I say,
Yep.
oh.
But you make my lunch.
He wants me to live
every
a
day.
healthy and long life.
Yep.
How beautiful.
Yeah.
So, but then again, it's the little things with him. Or when I get up on Saturday morning, because he's an early riser, and he has already made my cup of water for us to go to the gym, and he's put apples in the bag so that we're not. It's the little things.
Right.
Or it's when he goes and reaches in his closet and he has clean clothes to wear.
Exactly.
Or he pulls out his drawer and he has clean undies to put on.
Yep.
So it's the little things, right? It's the little things that we think don't make a difference. But if he opens up his drawer and nothing's there, he's going to be like, what the heck?
Yep.
I don't think that's going to make him a happy husband, right? But it's the little things. It's how I make his lunch for him every day when and we spend it together. It's the little things. So try the ebook, download it, apply it. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know if we missed something and what we can get. Nancy Smith said, "I got mine." All right,
Nancy. We appreciate that.
Yes, and can we go up right there? Yep. All right. So Lavanya Weatherspoon is in the house. Hello, Lavanya.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us today.
We greatly appreciate it.
All right. And then what's the other one?
Vanya.
Happy almost birthday cousin. Yes.
Yeah.
So dang, Vanya trying to beat me to it. But
Yeah.
I was putting it at the end. But my husband's or hubby's birthday is Sunday.
Yep.
Yes, it is. And woo! So me and the kids, I don't know if anybody has ever seen All Dogs Go to Heaven, but when you have kids, you watch cartoons over and over and over again. Or animated movies,
And
whatever they call it.
etched in your brain.
Right. So we always use All Dogs Go to Heaven, and it's the grandchild he's birthday. So it's the grandchild he's birthday on Sunday, guys.
Yep.
And at the end, I would like for you guys to help me wish my husband a happy birthday. All right.
Oh, that's so sweet of
yes,
you. Thank you so
yes.
much, sweetie.
So he's a wonderful husband. He's a magnificent father. And I know these are adjectives that we normally use, but he's a great brother. He's I'm sure he is an awesome brother-in-law because my sisters always call him when they have computer problems or when they need something.
Yeah.
So he is always there when whoever needs him, whomever, whether it's someone at the church, whether it's someone in the family, whether it's a friend, somebody we just met down the street. He still has old what do you call it? Players that still
that coach.
come by that he used to coach that just love him, right?
Yeah.
That he has made such a huge impact in their lives because he treats everyone as if they're the only one alive when they're with him.
Yep.
And he's always given so much knowledge and wisdom. Right. Excuse me. Any more comments before we need to get into it?
Vanya asked, where can you get the download for the ebook? You go to legendaryrelationship.com and then you just click on ebook right off the website, and then it'll take you to the download.
Okay, so it is going to ask you for your email. It is going to ask you for your email. So you have to put your email in so that it's able to send you future things. All right, so go to Legendary. Can you put that up one more time, sweetheart? Thank you. LegendaryRelationship.com and click on the free ebook. And is that the top, Jay?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It says ebook right there on the navigation.
Okay, so at the top where most of the little navigation bar is at the top, it'll say ebook. And it is Awaken the Love and Intimacy in Your Relationship. And
that's the course.
Just try it.
Oh, no.
I mean, no.
No, it's love and intimacy.
Yeah,
you're right. Okay. Yeah. I went straight to elevate. Yep. It's all right.
Awaken the Love and Intimacy. It is 8 simple ways, and let's try them. And so one of the things in the book is, if your spouse's birthday is coming up. So what some things you can do.
Yes.
Right? And so it
Did you take some pointers out of the book?
I did.
Oh.
I did.
Oh.
And I think some of those pointers are what you have put in the book. So
that's good to say. All right. Well,
so
that's
it's nice. Like I said, it's not the big things, it's the little things.
And you know what? And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about tangible things that we are actually doing that is working, that has worked in the past for other couples as we've actually coached other couples. So this is not just something that we just made up and just said, okay, well, that sounds good. No, this is, principles and things that we actually started doing and using.
And I know that we often say you can't do what you don't know.
Yeah.
Right. So sometimes we excuse people because the saying is if they knew better, they would do better. Right.
Yep.
And that applied to us as well. So when you don't know, you don't know. When you don't know other things to try, you just don't know. It's no one's fault. You just don't know. So let's get in the know.
Okay.
Let's get in the know, guys. All right.
So we know.
All right.
So the question?
Question of the day. So Vicky, Earl, Vanya, Nancy, who wants to be the first person? Vanya or Lavanya, who wants to be the first person who puts in? How can you make your marriage better?
Okay. I think Vicky.
I think Vicky had started. That's
Yep,
right. That's
yep,
right.
Vicky had started.
Vicky,
and
you
then
know,
she
Vicky
said,
always, Vicky loved being first.
"Oh yeah, nothing wrong with that."
Vicky, when was Vicky's birthday? It was Vicky. What's your sign? So Vicky said, we can help our marriage by having counseling with older Christian couples. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Actually,
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've done some of that.
And so, Vicky, when you say we can help our marriage, so is that what if you want to do it and he does it?
Mm-hmm.
Then what happens? What if you?
Because we have a lot of that.
So what if you feel as though you're at a point in your relationship and things aren't going right, and you really do want some advice, and you say, well, let's go get some counseling, let's go talk to somebody, and your spouse says no, I don't want people in my business, I don't want people to know what's going on with me. What do we do then, Vicky? Well, what do you do then, Vicky?
Yep.
So what is your response to that? Come on, Vicky, I know you can type fast.
Well, you got to formulate it all, so it's not.
So let's go to another thing. Let's see. Waiting for everybody else's. All right. Vicky, Earl, and I, we have already agreed on it.
There you go.
But
But you can't do a hypothetical if they've already agreed on it, right?
I guess.
Right.
Okay.
But so you got to that point though. That's the thing, right? So what made you have that conversation to say, look, if things get rough and we can't really work it out, when do we decide, okay, we want to go talk to someone else to help us out with this, give us that third eye, in a sense.
And are you going guided? I mean, not guided, protected. Are you going protected? I know sometimes when Jason and I took courses, we didn't let the whole shoe fall.
Right.
We were a little guarded, like,
Right.
okay, we just gonna give them a little bit of the Tina and Jason, but we're not gonna give them all of it, because you don't want don't want people to know the worst part of your relationship.
But what happened? You cheat yourself.
You do.
Right. Because
we learned that the hard way.
If you want to get there, you go in there to get better, and then you don't
go in
put
there
your
to
best
learn.
foot forward.
You hiding stuff. The part you're hiding is the part you need to learn how to get overcome. All right. So Gail said, I would still get the counseling and then share the results with my husband.
That's a start.
Absolutely.
That's a start.
Absolutely. Great, Gail.
And you know what? Change starts with you, right? So if you start to change, or or the way that you look at things start to change, then your relationship starts to change. So if you go out and you get this, and they notice all these different changes in you, and they like what they see, then it might be more apt to come and have a conversation, or even show up and say, hey, what is that thing you're doing?
Okay.
What is this all about?
Let's see what Vanya says. So Vanya says communication and more communication.
Yep. And I like to say.
So what do you mean by communication, Vanya?
And I like to say effective communication, because we're always communicating through body language and everything else. And sometimes we can be talking and no one's understanding anything that we're saying. Each other, right? As we're talking, right? Sometimes are we talking and listening, or we just both talking because we need to be heard, because we need to get our point across. But in our minds, we think that we're communicating, which we are. So we go back to being, is it effective?
Is it negative communication?
Right.
Is it communication where we are actually doing more damage to our relationship than good, because we haven't actively sought out the correct way to communicate, so that both people can feel relaxed, comfortable, with forthcoming.
Right.
So Nancy, I did not hear from you. So
Now,
what can you do? Can we put that question of the day up again?
Oh, yeah.
I think Nancy missed the question.
Okay.
And then Lavanya, I think we didn't hear from you. So the question of the day is, how can you make your marriage better? All right?
That was one of the things that I was going to say about making the relationship better, and about communication. A lot of times we think that we are really communicating because we're speaking, and we're saying certain things. But if you were just trying to get our point across, we're not really communicating. We're just trying to get our stuff out. So we need to communicate, and we need to make sure that the person that's receiving that information is actually retrieving that information and understanding what you're trying to get over to them. So if I'm trying to prove a point or get my point out, and I'm speaking to Tina, I need to make sure that she's understanding what I'm saying and
Or
not
I'm
listening.
receiving it.
Right, or you're receiving it. Because if you're not receiving it, we're not good. We cannot get anywhere. We could talk all night, but we're not going to get anywhere.
Okay, so let's see if we have another response going into it. Vanya said something. Vanya said, talk about your true feelings. Listen to your mate.
Yep.
And so I know I was never taught how to listen. Listening is a skill that we just do it and we think we're doing it right.
Right.
Right? And so I know for me that I had to realize how to really listen without trying to respond or without trying to make sure that he understood me, right?
Mhm.
No, that's not what I'm saying. And I also realized that oftentimes he wasn't listening because of how I was presenting
Mhm.
the information to him,
Right.
right? So he wasn't receiving it because I wasn't delivering it in the right type of manner, right? So if somebody comes up to you and often, and I look at that, like someone comes up to you and they really need help and maybe they're dirty and bleeding. And so it's, how do we look at when somebody's presenting something to us and how do we know when to actively listen and when not to judge,
Mhm.
right? And so there's different ways, but absolutely, Vanya, talk, listen, communicate. So did I miss anything else?
Of course.
So Nancy Smith says, being an effective listener. Absolutely.
I think that's the most
Absolutely.
important key in the relationship. We talk about communication, but listening is the key, because if everyone's talking and no one's listening, you don't have communication.
Okay, let's go to our next comment. Presentation is key. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Communicate in peace.
Right.
And sometimes when we're upset, you know what? And what I realize is that we have all these little cliches in our relationship, this, in life.
Right.
But we don't always, it's hard to do them.
You know what?
What was,
in the heat of battle, and I'll just say battle, I'm not saying that you're battling, but in the heat of battle, you kind of forget all that stuff. It's like, okay, we're gonna do
Right.
this and we're gonna do that,
Right.
and then as soon as they come in and they tick you off, and it's like that's out the window. You know, we're ready to
we
get it on.
resort back to the person
Right. Right.
the
It's
only way
just-
we know how to communicate.
Right. Now, if you're upset about something and you can do some of these things, kudos to you. And that's what we're trying to get you to get to.
Mm-hmm.
De-escalate, deal with the situation. If you can't, step away for a second, then come back and resume the conversation. But when the temperature is up in the room,
Sometimes it's not always easy to listen
It
to
is
those little
not.
cliches.
That's right.
Right?
You
being
know all
an
of them.
effective listener.
Right.
You're like, I'm listening. I'm listening.
Yep.
All right. Okay, let's see what Vicky has to say. All right, Vicky said some people communicate with body language, which is not a good way to communicate.
Exactly. Sometimes it'll be with body language and nonverbal. Right, and you know they telling you everything. They're like, "No, I'm listening to you. I'm with you."
You're sitting there with your arms folded and your
Right.
face twisted, going, I'm listening.
Yep.
I hear you. I know what you're thinking. Right?
Yes.
So, but what brought me to this question today was what I realized is that oftentimes we have these cliches of what we should do to make our marriage better.
Right.
But ultimately, and Jason tapped on it, was what we have to truly realize is that what we can do to make our relationship better starts with us. It starts with me. It starts with me recognizing my part in the relationship. It starts with me recognizing my limits, my habits, my dislikes, my likes, and it starts with me being secure in myself to kind of take a step back and say, what part am I playing in our disconnection?
Yep.
Right? What part am I playing in this putting our relationship on cruise control? Right? What part am I playing where I'm putting my kids before my spouse? Right? What am I doing where my job is more important? And so the one person that I love the most in the world, I'm arguing with them over a job that I really don't even care about.
Right.
Right? So first thing that I wanted to realize is that I had to realize, and that oftentimes we have to let people know, is that we want our mate to change. We want them to become the mate we want them to be.
Yeah.
But really, it's us. It's us. We always talk about, don't try to change someone. Don't go into a relationship or a marriage trying to change someone. The only person you can change is you, and the only thing you can change is through you. I can't make Jason change no matter what I do. He's going to be who he is. So this working with people and helping couples to see that, well, I want him to do this, I want him to do that, I want him to do the other. The question is, what are you doing? Right? What is the equivalent of what you want him to do? What do you have to be for your mate to be what you want them to be? And so the biggest thing with me is that we have to realize that even though it's two in the relationship, the very first thing we need to do is start with the change within ourselves. Because if we don't change, then we're looking for outside situations to change us. We have to be in control of who we are. We have to understand the things that we're doing that are negative, that we need to rid ourselves of, that do, that do not really serve our relationship. It doesn't serve it well.
It don't serve
right?
your life anywhere. Yeah.
Right. So, did someone else have a
they
comment?
had a comment, but before that, I want to get to the next thing here.
Okay.
Which ties right into what Earl had just said.
Okay.
But I just want to put out there, what have you done?
So
have you?
what are you doing? What have you done? Right?
Mhm.
What have you done personally? Not you and your mate. What I want to hear from each one of you guys. What have you done to help your relationship? And so that's where the first question came from. Like, what can you do to make your marriage better?
Right.
I can stop doing the things I do in my relationship that makes it worse.
Right.
So hey Earl. So when you are at a stalemate, pray.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Wait.
Yep.
So when you are at a stalemate,
Mhm.
pray and ask God to show you and your spouse what the problem is, whether it is you or them. Then you must listen to Him and begin to change.
Yep.
Uh,
So now when
Well,
prayer?
well, I agree with that, and I have a little
about prayer changing,
no. Just to add to that, is that you say, you ask, is it me or is it my mate? Well, we can only see things that are in us, right?
Mhm.
You can't see the problem of your mate or what the problem is. You can only see what's you. So when you see a problem that you perceive, and even though you're asking God for His guidance, ultimately it must be an issue that you have. And if it's something that you don't like going on, then you have to find out what it is about that issue that is making you feel the way you feel, right?
Mhm.
What is it that I'm seeing in my mate that makes me think it's them? So when you go, and everybody does things differently, but I would just always start with asking God to reveal to you what you need to do, right? Because it's something that you have to work on. And that's why you're feeling the way you're feeling.
Right. Because we only see what's in us. Right.
Right. And oftentimes we want to believe it's our mate,
Mhm.
but maybe our mate is doing something, but is it our response to what they're doing? Is it our attitude towards what they're doing? Is it past baggage that is pushing a button for us from what they're doing? So even though they may be doing something, it's what is it about it that irritates me so much? What is it about it that's triggering my button? What do I need to reveal to myself as to why this is having such an impact in my relationship? What did that one say?
No, I said,
So thank you, Earl. Absolutely, and we should always seek guidance.
always. For sure.
All right, always.
But you pray and you pray that God can reveal to you what needs to happen. One, for you, and then you'll change. So prayer changes you, and then you actually change the situation.
Absolutely.
So if I get a better understanding of what's going on, so God speaks to me, I get a better understanding. My outlook is different. Maybe I need to make a change that also helps change the situation. Then the whole thing changes.
So we have to remember in relationships that It's how am I showing up in this relationship? What am I doing to either make the relationship better, or what am I doing to make the relationship work? Or what am I doing that's not doing anything either way? It's just, as we say, on cruise control.
Yeah.
I'm just letting it go out of control wherever it's going, right?
And we've been there.
Yeah,
You
well,
just,
yeah, absolutely.
it's like whatever, I'm
Yeah.
not, whatever the case is at this point.
Okay, let's read that comment. And so, if anyone else has anything else, please comment in. And so, Gail says, I totally agree. I asked the Lord to show me myself and help me to change, because change is not always easy. Gail, you let me know what change is easy.
Yep.
Always easy. Change ain't never easy. Change is.
You know
at
what's
least-
funny? Whenever you decide to make a decision on change,
Man.
something always come up.
Man.
I'm gonna change the way I eat. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do that. And then sure enough, something comes up and you're like, I said I wasn't gonna eat that. I'll eat a little bit of
I
this.
say, I'm going to change the way I respond, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to respond like that. And I'll be darned
Yep.
if something just don't push that old button that I thought I disconnected.
And then you let it
And then
fly.
I respond the
Yep.
same way. Change is hard because change usually requires us to let go of old habits.
Right.
And habits are just those. It is the things that we have become most comfortable with that may not be the most beneficial in our lives, because that's why we need to change them. Right? So it's just, I totally agree with you, Gail. We definitely need the Lord's assistance with trying to, Lord, change me. Help me to change myself.
Yeah.
Changes, amen. But change happens over time. Yes, it does.
And you have to give it time with that, right? So we seek change like immediate.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
I feel like if I got a problem, I want to change now. You got to play the long game here, right? So it's
Yep.
going to take some time to get that change, because you've been wired to do what you've been doing all these years, and now all of a sudden you just decide that you're going to change. It's not, them thoughts and those feelings and all that stuff is not going to go away and give in to this new person, right? You're going to have to work on some things, so it is going to take time.
And I'm so glad that my daughter doesn't listen to our show. So I'm going to talk about her tonight, right? Because if she knew, she would probably be upset. But I had to learn how to communicate with my daughter. Her and I had gotten to a point where every time in my mind, I saw the conversation going this way.
Until you had it.
And then we started talking, and she made a hard left. And then all of the Tina that she had grew and all just flew right out the window. And then I made a hard right, and now we're screaming at each other, and I'm hollering, and she's like, you don't understand. And I'm like, what do you oh my God, you talking about change. And so you talking about work, you talking about longevity.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And I still have to make sure
But you're good at that now.
before I get into a conversation
You've
with her
gotten better.
that I have made that change, and
Yeah.
I'm not letting that Tina back, because sometimes things get normal, right? Habits. We get used to responding to each other and talking to each other in a certain way. And so she has matured, and hopefully I have matured, but we still
Yeah.
act like I'm the mother, right? But I have
Right.
to respect her as a young adult, and her thoughts and her feelings and her journey.
But you
right?
have done well. You have done quite well with your reactions and how you look at things. I must say that I'm not quite
thank you,
there.
honey.
I'm not quite there yet.
You
I'm
mean with
working
my
on
daughter?
that. Yes, I'm definitely not there yet, and I'm working on it. But you seem to have become more calm and being able to look at things differently, which is good. I mean, that's good. I mean, because you guys were kind of always at it. Me, I just like it. If you don't want to listen, life's going to teach you
Yeah,
more than
Jason's
I can.
approach was always, he just didn't say anything.
Right. After
He-
a while,
he-
it's
he-
like
he-
I'm going to give you my little
And I'll be like,
advice.
Jason, say something.
I'll say something. But I said, well, don't worry, because if you don't want to listen, I'm going to tell you. If you don't want to listen, you don't want to seek my counsel, then life's going to teach you, right? And let's hope you're a very fast learner. So
And Jason has so much wisdom, and he
Right.
says things to me that I don't even think of. I'm like, God, that was really good. Why didn't I think of that way? But she couldn't hear it because we were always arguing. We were
Right.
always against each other instead of, well, let me hear your side and understand how you're feeling. And then let me express to you how we feel as parents. And so it was definitely a journey. So that's why I said learning how to really communicate with anyone, right? And so Vicky says, I ask Earl's opinion before I just do something. Okay, this was hard for me to do because I am a leader, but in marriage, both are leaders. Well said, Vicky. Very
Well
well
said.
said. All right.
That's a big pill to swallow. I mean, because you feel like you relinquishing some power, but you're not. It's just a respect. It's
It
just like
is.
we're
You
in
want,
this together.
yes.
So I just can't make all the decisions or make a decision and then not care about how you feel about it. Now, we had a couple that we were working with, and a gentleman made a big purchase of an automobile, and he didn't see anything wrong with that. That's a big purchase. You just come home with an automobile in the driveway, and you didn't have a conversation
You didn't talk to your wife about it
at all.
Nothing.
Whether you're paying for it out of your money or whatever, that's still something that I think you should have a conversation with your spouse about. So that's a pretty big deal, and that was pretty traumatic for that couple. But that stems from something else, right? So you just have to be able to have that conversation and ask for opinion, or just say, hey, listen, I'm thinking about this, what do you think? Like, should it be a good purchase, or whatever the case is. So it is hard when it's like, well, I can pay for it, I can afford it, I can do whatever.
And so
Yes, you can.
we're missing the whole mark of what a marriage is.
Right, and it's two people in a
Mhm,
marriage,
mhm.
right?
And I know part of marriage also is that we look at what other people think, right? Well, if I do this, if they see me asking my husband or asking my wife or what their opinion is, then they're gonna feel like, right, I'm henpecked or I can't do anything on my own. And it has nothing to do with that. Earl, she just learned that. Well, Earl, guess what? What we just said, change, it takes time.
It takes time.
But guess what? My daughter used to tell me progress is good no matter how small.
Right.
See, my daughter was
Vicky,
wise too.
how long have you guys been married? So you just
So-
learned this last week. So
So, but the point is that she learned it.
Right.
And guess what? She's practicing it.
Yep.
And so that's a plus. That means that, so our relationship has two sides. It has two sides. We're either adding to it or we're taking away from it. So she just put a plus on the board.
Yep.
Right? And before, where she was minusing. So we have to make sure that we don't do things that are detrimental to our relationship. I know oftentimes Jason would tell
I know. That's funny though.
So I know,
Yeah,
I know.
I know.
Earl, we know you're telling the truth. We know
Yeah.
you're telling the truth. I just learned Jason and I just learned some things last week too. We act like we know it for a long time.
Yeah.
But it made me forget what I was saying. But I know that yep, that ship
The train-
sailed.
the train-
That-
the train
yeah,
left the
I forgot the
station.
point I was gonna
Yeah.
make.
Yeah.
But progress is good. I think I was
Yeah,
talking
you
about
were talking
that.
about progress is good.
Right. So maybe.
And
I don't even
progress
know.
is slow, and then you don't even notice it. Kind of like when you're losing weight.
Oh, I was talking about
Yeah, it's kind of
Okay.
like when you're losing weight. You at first you're getting on the scale and you look like you're losing a little bit, and then after a while, it look like nothing's happening. Nothing. And then you put on an outfit, and you can now get back into that outfit. You go, wow, it didn't look like I was doing anything, and then all of a sudden, you go, wow, I've actually lost some weight. Now I see the difference.
that's when change is happening when you think nothing is happening.
Right.
Right, so that's
And you're
when
working
it's
on it.
quiet. That's when, and you're working on it. You know
Right.
you're working on it, but you think you don't see any progress. You're seeing progress because it's happening. It's happening, and so. But what I want to go back to you, Vicky, and Earl, is that people want respect in their relationship, but they don't realize that another cliche, right? You got to give respect to
To
get
get it.
respect.
Right.
And so we think we're being respectful, but we're not. And Jason had to tell me in a couple of instances, and I'm going to say in the past.
Okay.
And so that
Like
things
last
that-
week passed.
the things that I said and I did were disrespectful.
Mhm.
And I didn't see it that way. I didn't see it, the things that I did and what I said, and I felt like I was just saying them because I wanted you to hear and feel what I was feeling. But then he said, I feel disrespected. And so I had to take a step back and say, like, how does he feel disrespected? But I had to put myself in his shoes, and I had to ask myself, is that something that I would want him to say to me? So learning that last week, kudos to Vicky and Earl. They get the prize for this week, couple of the week. All right, kudos to you guys. And Jason, I'm about to move over. So kudos to you guys for working this thing called marriage, continually working on marriage and what it takes to get to that point where you're what is it, a well-tuned engine? Is that
well-tuned machine,
well-oiled machine, or whatever
well-oiled
that?
machine. Yep.
And so it takes a lot. It takes a lot, and unfortunately, everyone doesn't know that. And in marriages, we don't know that. We don't understand that anything worth having, you're going to have to work at it.
For sure.
If it's a garden, if it's your home, if it's your children, if it's your car, right? If it's your clothes, whatever, if it's your body, if it's your eating habits, whatever it is,
Sometimes
you're going
you have
to
to deal with this all at one time.
Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely. So you're going to have to work at it, but it's worth it in the end. The rewards are so much greater than the work.
Oh, yeah, for
right?
sure. Yeah. But the work is a little bit. So
and it gets easier. It gets easier as
you know
get
what?
better.
As you overcome things, it becomes easier. Like, hey, man, we just knocked that off. Then we ready for the next task.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So Gail says every small change is good. Yes, got to start somewhere.
You do.
Amen.
And
Because if you never start, you'll never change.
that's true. Yeah,
Right?
you don't
Change
stay
never
the same. Right.
change never happens if you never start.
One thing about change, you have to start so you can change. So,
Yep. Never heard anyone succeed at something they never started.
yeah, that's
Never
true.
heard that.
Yeah.
So we have to. So thanks, Earl, for the joke. We appreciate it. Thanks, Vicky, for learning last week how to ask his opinion on things. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. Don't forget to share. I think we're going to end the conversation because we could go on and on and on. And so I need to continue washing. I have to go wash the clothes for this weekend because Jason and I are going away. So I have to make sure everything is done.
Yeah, okay. All right. I like that.
So is there anything else? Don't forget to like and then to share. So we thank you for putting your marriages first, trying to get into the conversation on what can I do to make my marriage better. And ultimately, if anyone, what you can walk away with today is that it begins with you.
Yep.
It begins with you.
So we're going to talk about next week's conversation, next week's question?
Yes. So next week we have another question. We're going to give it to you early so you have more time to think about it. Who's responsible when the love fades? Who's responsible? Who is responsible? Who is responsible when the love fades?
So we're going to give you a whole week to work on that one, right?
So Earl and Vicky don't get to arguing, right? Vicky asked his opinion if you think it's his fault. So we want to make sure, have these conversations with your spouse. So if you are tuning in and you feel as though these are questions that make you think, like, well, what am I doing in my relationship to make it better? What am I doing, right? What can be done? Who does it begin with? Who starts it? Who does it? And then next week's conversation is, who's responsible if the love fades, right? And I know Vicky and Earl are sitting over there and they want to answer right now, but we're not going to listen. We're not going to take their answer. So Vicky, hold on to next week. Hold on to next week, Vicky. So, but we give you guys a whole week to talk about it because guess what? Your first answer sometimes is off the spur, but then you think about it. It simmers and you go, you know what? This, and this, and this, and so let's give us some deep. Let's share the knowledge that we have. Did Vicky ever answer how long they have been married?
No, they haven't. Go ahead and put that out there, Vicky.
Vicky, how long have you guys been married? So just let's actively just slide back into the driver's seat of our relationships and let's take it off cruise control. Let's start driving where we want to go and not just wherever we end up. All right, 18 years. Wonderful, wonderful. Congratulations. All right. It took her 18 years to learn to ask. No, just All right, Vicky. All right, thank you, guys.
We appreciate that.
But we definitely thank all of you guys for your comments, your input, your knowledge, your wisdom, because we all have something to share. And we thank you for sharing with us, as well as those couples who are going to watch this later. So just making sure that we, as I can't say that enough, that we are intentional in our relationships. because nothing happens without intention. It starts in the mind, and so we have to make it so, right? So if I want a certain type of relationship, I got to think about what I want. I
You
got to
gotta
be
make-
able to
you-
vision it and make it happen.
Right. You have to make your relationship. It just doesn't happen. You have to go out and really make your relationship. So we're talking about marriage, but that's all relationships. Because sometimes we're in relationships that is not for our highest good.
Absolutely.
And we really shouldn't be in those relationships. So
Yep.
we'll get more into that. But,
Yep. I have to constantly remind people.
Yeah.
If you start a relationship with someone and there's something about them you don't like, then that right there, that should stop lowering your standards, and then you wonder why years later you're miserable. You're not supposed to be in a relationship with everybody. It's supposed to be that one person where you're not trying to change them and they're not trying to change you. That you are happy with who they are and they're happy with who they are, and you're happy with who you are and they're happy with who you are. And so that's what makes the relationship work. We are not here to change people.
For
all right?
sure.
Vicky, say something.
No, yeah, she did. But that's for but this is this is a response to next week's question.
We said we weren't gonna take it, right? All right, thank you,
But that
Vicky.
was cute.
She want to get it. I told you, Vicky like to be first.
Yeah, that's
Vicky like
funny.
to be first. All right, so thank you guys. TGIF, thank God it's Friday. And if
Yes.
everybody could just type in the chat real quick, happy birthday,
Oh, wow.
Jason.
Oh, thank
And
you,
so
Freddie.
my sisters always tell me I can't sing, but I'm gonna sing happy birthday
You can
to
sing.
you.
You know I like it when you sing.
Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday.
Thank you, sweetie.
So thank you, everybody. If you could just tap happy birthday, type shit in the chat. Happy birthday, Jason.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday to the grand Chahi.
Thank you
All
so much. We
right.
greatly appreciate it, and we appreciate you guys being on and being part of the conversation. Eventually, I know we have people out there just kind of watching. Thank you very much. I'm not sure who the user is. You might be coming in from the Facebook group. I'm not sure, but thank you very much.
It says Facebook user, so whoever you
they're
are on
probably
Facebook, your
they're
name.
probably coming through the Marriage Boss.
Okay.
That's part of it. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. I really appreciate you guys chiming in. Our goal is to get more people to have these conversations
To make
and
marriage better.
to make marriage better, to make relationships better. Because if you make your relationship if you make this relationship better, all your relationships will change. Trust me.
That's true.
You start home first, and then you go out and you start to notice that people will fall off and things of that nature. So let's strengthen up this thing right here between husband and wife, and let's have a strong relationship, and let's show couples out there, especially ones that's just starting out, how to love on one another. You know?
It's hard. It's hard when you're not taught what a relationship is, what it entails, what it requires. When you're
Thanks,
not
Vanya.
taught that,
Appreciate
you
it.
just don't know. And baby, we're here to help marriage get better. We're trying to, like I said before, we are divorce busters, right? We're myth busters about what marriage can be, right? So people have all these myths about it. People don't want to get married. Marriage is the best thing in the world if it's done right, like anything else. You have a good cup of coffee, or if you have a bad cup of coffee. It depends on the cup of coffee,
Yep.
right? All right,
Yeah.
and how you made it. You ever cook something and you say, "Man, I can tell they made this with love." Same thing in relationship. All right, so don't forget, guys, go download the ebook. What happened?
Yeah, that's Vanya. Say happy
You
double
ain't supposed
nigga.
to- she's supposed to be telling people how old you are.
But you know what's funny? I just hear Calvin, kick, hitting the old double nickel, man.
All right, guys, go download the ebook and use it, apply it, try it.
Yeah.
Uh,
And share a link
humor-
with your friends.
humor us,
yeah.
and then give us your feedback on it. Let us know what you would like to see in other free ebooks. What
Right, because
advice
we're working
do you
on
need?
other free ebooks.
Yes.
As we're working on the book.
Yes.
As well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, I think that's it. I don't have
Yeah.
anything else to say. You got anything else to say?
Nope. I appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. We'll
Go subscribe. You can go to YouTube, go to Legendary Relationship, click on subscribe. You can subscribe to Legendary Relationship, and you can subscribe to Love and Beyond the I Do, or you can download the podcast app on your phone, Android or
We're everywhere.
Apple, Stitcher, Spotify. We're
Oh,
everywhere.
you're burning them. Look at you.
I missed some.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
it's a whole bunch of them out
Right.
there.
So we're
Yeah.
on all platforms.
All.
Anywhere. If you know someone who listens to podcasts and you say, "How do I listen to a podcast?" Have them help you get it. We are everywhere because we like to talk. So go listen to it and subscribe to that. So when you know every Wednesday when it comes out, you will be notified. And then all you have to do is click on that little notification and it takes you right to the podcast. It's just as simple as that. So guys, get out there, spread the word. All right. All right. What did Gail say?
Yeah.
Great topic. Can you pick? You know, you get it.
Oh yeah, I gotta make it.
All right.
I gotta
So Gail
magnify
said,
for you.
great topic tonight. Love what you're doing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you,
Thank you
Gail.
for being here.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you
for
so
being here.
much. Thank you for taking the time to come and listen and
Now we've
share.
been doing this. You know, it's interesting because Tina and I was having a conversation about the live, and it's like I remember when we were just talking to the air. It was just me and Tina on here, and no one was out there. I said, "Baby, trust me, we just gonna keep going. Believe me, people are gonna listen. People are gonna come out, and you know, here we are. You know."
All right. So I think that's it.
Yep,
And
we appreciate it.
yes, download that ebook. Let us know. All right. And as always, we're in it to win it.